Guest video: Saint Francis of Assisi. Saint Francis of Assisi 1181 or 1182 to 1226 was a Roman Catholic friar, and the founder of the Order of the Friars Minor, more commonly known as the Franciscans. He is known as the patron saint of animals, birds, the environment, and Italy, and it is customary for Catholic churches to hold ceremonies honoring animals around his feast day of October 4th. In Canticle of the Creatures he wrote, "All praise to you, O Lord, for all these brother and sister creatures." The video: Communication between humans and animals. The guest video we have chosen is the story of Saint Francis and the wolf. Search for Saint Francis taming the wolf. Saint Francis said, "If you have men who will exclude any of God's creatures from the shelter of compassion and pity, you will have men who will deal likewise with their fellow men." He also said, "It was easy to love God in all that was beautiful. The lessons of deeper knowledge, though, instructed me to embrace God in all things." As such, the spiritual experience that was most in evidence was his ability to communicate with animals, all animals. The painting is by Stanley Spencer. Other spiritual experiences: levitation. According to Friar Herbert Thurston in his book The Physical Phenomenon of Mysticism, Saint Francis could also levitate. In The Little Flowers of Saint Francis, we read what happened when the saint allowed Brother Leo to visit him in the remoter solitude of Mount Algeria. And from that hour the said Friar Leo commenced to scrutinize and to consider the life of Saint Francis with great purity and goodwill. And by reason of his purity, he merited to behold how many a time and oft Saint Francis was wrapped in God and uplifted from the ground. Sometimes for the space of 3 cubits, sometimes of 4, and sometimes even to the height of the beech tree, and sometimes he beheld him raised so high in the air and surrounded with such radiance, that scarcely could he see him. And what did this simple friar do when Saint Francis was so little raised above the ground that he could reach him? He went softly and embraced his feet and kissed them with tears, saying, "My God, have mercy upon me, a sinner, and for the merits of this holy man, grant me to find thy grace." Other spiritual experiences: communication with spirit beings. On the 14th of September, 1224, Mount Alverne, Italy, Brother Leo saw a ball of light suspended above Saint Francis of Assisi while he conversed with an invisible being. Father Candide Chalib, The Life and Legends of Saint Francis of Assisi, Teddington, Echo Library, 2007, pages 191 to 192. He heard voices which made questions and answers, and he remarked that Francis, who was prostrate, often repeated these words, "Who are you, O my God, and my dear Lord? And who am I? A worm, and thy unworthy servant." He also saw him put his hand out 3 times, and each time stretch it out to the flame. The light disappeared, and the conversation ceased. Death. Suffering from stigmata and from an eye disease, Saint Francis was brought to the Transito, the hut for infirm friars, next to the Porziuncula. Here, Saint Francis spent the last days of his life. He died on the evening of the 3rd of October, 1226.